Hi, if you're watching this, I'm Malcolm Nance, and you're watching Black Man Spy, the U.S. Iran attacks cast. Day 121, 121 days since the beginning of this debacle, or at least since we've been counting. We may have started 2 days early, but this debacle has been going on for some time, and it has changed back to the previous dynamic of forget the MOU, let's just attack each other. So we will get more into that. Hello from Quebec. And we have here with us Jacob Karsbo, Danish intelligence officer extraordinaire, wearing his Ukraine Defense Intelligence shirt, which one of these days, we're going to do a Ukrainian one, and we're going to wear all of our Gur shirts. Oh, by the way, let me show you something. I'll show you something. Yeah, I'm sure you guys haven't seen. You may have Ukrainian Defense Intelligence shirts, but have you got one of these?
No. No.
I just flashed that up there, because one.
Let's just inform our viewers that I'm wearing it because there's been declared a state of emergency for Crimea.
Thank you.
The fascists have declared a state of emergency in Crimea. It's good news.
I can't imagine what's going on. Maybe they're getting their asses handed to them, because I saw that there was a 10-kilometer long line out of Crimea to leave the country, right?
Yeah.
For going back to Russia over the overland route. You cannot go by boat. You can only go on that route coming out of Crimea, going to Melitopol, Mariupol, then up to Rostov.
No, that has been blocked, and they have said no civilian traffic.
Whoa!
That queue was at the Kerch Bridge. That was to pass.
That was the Kerch Bridge. Wow. Yeah. That bridge ain't going to last long either. When they feel enough civilians have left, they'll drop that bridge. They
want to get as many Russians out as possible.
Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome. Anything Ukraine does is awesome. And speaking of that, before we start our Middle East chat, I am running 2 fundraisers today. Principally because GoFundMe has made it clear they do not allow fundraisers for anything related to conflicts. So they canceled a fundraiser that we had to raise laptops for a Ukrainian army drone interceptor team. And even though it was defensive, it was just laptops. It wasn't because it was weapons or anything. It's just anything related to war, they cancel it. Same thing with PayPal. PayPal will not allow you to buy anything related to weapons. But laptops, these laptops are used for mapping and all that. So same way we use laptops here, right? So what did you just throw up there? Our Middle East geopolitical expert from Saudi Arabia, Wajeeh the Gay Lion, has this. I shit you not. I thought that was from. I thought that was from Iraq.
No, that's from DC.
For a second. Oh my God! Where's the one with the fist? It's supposed to have the fight fist on the top.
That's don't have that proposed. One yet. So this is the Trump triumph arch.
Yeah.
And this is Trump Timu arch.
Timu arch.
Team.
One of them is the Arc de Triomphe. The other is the Arc de Timu. The Arc de Timu Trump. Yeah. We're obviously having way too much fun. So, as we spiral up. There, I'm actually making a coffee. I have I moved the espresso machine, automated espresso machine, next to my desk now. I mean, I'm not playing games anymore. When I need my 4, 5, 6 double espressos to chill out from all the crazy shit that's going on, it's going to be amazing. Somebody said, wait till Banksy does a takeoff of that arch. I was just in London, and I have photographs of Banksy's leader with the flag in his face walking off a cliff. And that's down next to the Crimea War statue just off Pall Mall, next to a Fowler's Country Clothier. Very nice. But yeah, I can't wait till somebody gets a hold of that. It'll be like a giant dildo on top, right? A big honking dildo. Or a tiny little mushroom one. Somebody wants to see a picture of that. Actually, I will show you a picture of that because I took it at the Ukrainian March a couple of weeks ago when I was in London, and somebody goes, "Hey, look, that's the Banksy statue that's there." And you know how Banksy is. You don't know where anything is. He just quietly raised that statue of the leader with the flag in his face. So if you give me 1 second, I can get that out for you. But pretty funny how he seems to have his how can I put it, his pulse on the times. And let me see, London, there's Bletchley Park. And I have a Substack special that I'm coming up with, a Black Man Spy special on, where I went to go visit the sites of some of the women of the Special Operations Executive. And here it is. Here, I will show you this. This is the Banksy statue of the leader who has the flag. It's about blind patriotism, is what it really is about. But if you see it, the leader is there, but his foot is going off the edge of a cliff. And it's great. I mean, it's really great example of blind patriotism. And, but it was Ukraine Day. And this statue off to the rear is the Crimea War Memorial for when the British did the Charge of the Light Brigade and got wiped out in Crimea. So they celebrate disasters with great statues. So it's just the nature of the English never say die mindset. But that being said, good morning, Wajeeh. What kind of coffee mug are you rocking? Because I have to make an espresso, so I need a moment. There you go.
I got my colorful China. Is it China? Yes. China.
China. Get your China. And this is the mug from
European Movement mug.
World peace cannot be safeguarded without the making of creative efforts proportional to the dangers which threaten it. Man, tell me about it. I got a country chock full of dangers that threaten it. Oh, my God.
That's why we need to get into gear.
Yeah, well, we shall see. All right.
The battle rattle.
Battle rattle. That is, my God, look at that. I made a mistake. I just made a perfect espresso and forgot to put the cup under it.
Oh, no.
I got to make another one. This is a tragedy.
How is my day?
How is my day going to go without my third cup of espresso here this morning?
Meanwhile, we're up to 1,000
who are
locked on. So,
what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? You're trying to tell me to get to work?
The fireworks.
I got enough people
from
out
the
there
Middle
complaining.
East.
All right. Yes. Good morning. Day 121. Somebody recommended yesterday that I have a section of the show called the Memorandum of Understanding Accountability section. And this will be where we get to, in a short summary, say who is maintaining the Memorandum of Understanding. Violations. Yesterday, the United States 0, Iran 1, Israel 2. So that's the summary of that. We will get into that. But first, the significant activity of the day. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, sort of the way we warned yesterday that Iran might send a message that using the southern portion of the Omani, U.S. Navy Omani traffic separation scheme,
this one right here,
Yeah, might result in them making a demonstration. Occurred yesterday. By yesterday afternoon, a few hours after this show, the Iranians pretty much made it clear that they weren't going to tolerate vessels sneaking out through the southern route. They attacked with a some form of cruise missile, a merchant ship off of Oman. It is a Singapore flagged container ship. I will bring a picture of it up. It was from the Evergreen Line. The bridge. Now, this is interesting. This is a container ship full of containers, but the missile seeker was sensitive enough or was optically guided to hit the bridge where they steer the ship directly. Nobody was killed. Nobody was seriously injured. The ship was not abandoned, but the Iranians made their point. We suspect that it was a loitering munition. That's a drone that's fired. The drone flies circles. It hunts a target. And then when the drone operator is ready to attack, he can lock onto a certain part of the ship. It'll go down and hit it. And any ship missile would have hit the hull at the waterline. A cruise missile would have hit it where the containers are because it goes for the biggest section of the ship. But only a drone, a loitering drone, can do a precision hit on the bridge, which, of course, got the attention of the bridge crew and the captain.
Surprise.
When all the windows explode around you. That is not good. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Office says it occurred 7.5 miles southeast of Dalit, which is near Cork Fakan in the northeastern corner of Oman. If you go up, a little more to the right there. Right there, that's where it occurred. And of course, it wasn't hard for the Iranians to send a missile across because it's only about 25 miles. So the Iranians immediately put out a notice that we told you only go through the approved. Yes, it's dangerous out there. Something could happen to you, right? This is literally mafia boss extortion. That's a nice container ship you got there. It'd be awful sad if something happened to it. Like a drone through the bridge. I'm not saying drones fly through bridges. I'm just saying, as Chris Shapar says, it's unhealthy.
Right. Things can happen in that exact range. You know, we told you. We told you.
We told you so. So the Iranians struck this vessel. Let me see if I can bring up some imagery of it. But as we said, we told you so. And I don't like playing the don't listen to me. I'm such a liar. I love playing the I told me so game. I love it, right? That is the intelligence community's version of having an orgasm, right? You go,
Someone could go, gee, why is Iran still attacking when there's a ceasefire, when Iran is sitting down with the United States and still figuring things out? It's explicitly because Iran is still negotiating with the United States. They need to make sure that they and only they have the upper hand when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. Because the Strait of Hormuz is the exact thing that gave Iran the upper hand on the United States when it comes to this war. So when Iran says, don't cross the strait from this location, and you disobey, and Iran ignores that, that shows to the U.S., halas, Iran no longer can control the strait, and we should even ignore the peace talks, and we should step on the Iranians. The Iranians at that point go, hell no to the no. We're going to hit any ship that doesn't follow our order the way we want them to follow the order. So in the meantime, this is what's going to keep happening.
If you think about it, the Iranians are not lying. The Strait of Hormuz is open, so long as you use the Iranian Revolutionary Guard multi-pass traffic separation scheme, right? Yeah. Anything other than that could yield dangerous activities which you may not appreciate. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, the MOU says that passage will be negotiated between Iran and Oman.
You don't see U.S. Navy involved in that.
The Iranians say, well, this has been done without our consent, so it violates point number 5.
Halas. And, I've heard that it's very dangerous out there. I mean, things it could be seagulls. It could be pelicans. All sorts of things fly into ships.
Yeah, exactly.
Ptarmigan.
Especially in the southern route. Especially that southern route.
Persian hawks. I mean,
it's full of them.
It's full of dangers, and freaking the Kraken could come out. You never know. So anyway, this is part of the Evergreen Line, Singapore flagged vessel, which may have been struck in the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC has announced with the United States, J.D. Vance actually made this announcement, that the United States and Iran will be having a deconfliction cell, and that the United States and Iran will open direct communications between the IRGC headquarters and U.S. Central Command. I mean, so I want you to think about... I want you to think about this for 1 second. If Barack Obama ever said, we're going to start communicating directly with the Iranians so that these attacks don't keep happening, they would have impeached him on the spot immediately, right? I really have to get that song from the Stephanie Miller show, If the Black Guy Did It.
Fox News would come out, our black terrorist president, who's Hussein's father, is been elected as president, all of a sudden is working with the Iranians.
No,
Can you believe it?
They would have said he was IRGC. They would have said Barack Hussein Obama is an IRGC agent. Look, he even calls them. It's just insane, but J.D. Vance can do it.
And tonight on Israeli Channel 14, Bibi's propaganda channel, it'll be J.D. Hussein Vance.
J.D. Hussein Vance. Yeah, I guess it will be. Well, Israel is so down on the Trump administration that there's not a lot you can do. They're pretty down on Trump these days. It is very tragic. That being said, let's keep moving on. So there will be an IRGC deconfliction channel. At one point, the talk was, I'm not joking, the initial talk was to station an IRGC officer at Udeid base in Qatar on the U.S. base so he could call up his homeboys and go, hey, my man, Hussein, Hassan. And they'll go, oh my God, Hussein, he's calling Obama. And stop all those attacks, okay? But it's obviously not going. Somebody said, can Trump coin still be used for multi-pass fees? Yes. Yes, the Iranians announced that almost 4 months ago. They accept Trump coin. Not a joke. They accept, right, the coin, what is it, Liberty Financial or whatever, U.S.-backed Trump coin. Yeah, you can pay your $2 million environmental fee.
And it gives you access to all IRGC perks because that's their preferred currency. They love to rub it in.
If you pay, you get free Turkish coffees at the Kashem Island, Larak Island checkpoint. They'll have a tray of Turkish delight that will be served with your coffee. They will give you your multi-pass. They give you these temporary multi-pass that you print from your own computer. No, they will give you your physical IRGC multi-pass. So you can go multi-pass.
And a complimentary IRGC Paramount membership.
Somebody says, and a $250 bill. Picture on it. Okay. That being said, most of my information today, one thing that we need to do to talk about is Iran has actually triangulated its proxies. And I don't actually like to use the word proxy. A proxy means that you're just a puppeteer for them. and they fill in for you. These people are independent ethnic entities with their own Shia religion, right, that they believe in. So I like to refer to them as co-religionists. And they're doing this, they're fighting on behalf of Iran because they are co-religionists. They're Shia Muslims. The
That's right.
Houthis have threatened Israel's future or claimed presence in Somaliland. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen it, I'll bring up the map, Jacob. Somaliland is an offshoot of northwest Somalia. Oh yeah, there you go. You're awesome at this.
Capital is Hargeisa. It's right here. The main port is Berbera. So it's this part up there.
Yeah, let me see if I like that. Yeah, as a matter of fact, you know what? Ever since you've mentioned it, now I see Mocha everywhere. Like, Mocha, God, I spent a lot of time up there. Off Yemen, been to Aden, been to all these places. I mean, it's like, where the hell? How did I miss Mocha? Well, here it is. So as Jacob was saying, this is more of a zoom map. This is this area north, the northern part of Somalia here is an independent nation called Somaliland. There you go. His map is much better. Mine is a detailed map. This is Somaliland. As he said, the port Berbera is their major seaport leading out into the Gulf of Aden. And then their capital is here, Hargeisa. And we talked about this a couple of months ago because the Egyptians had decided they were going to put $1 billion into essentially buying the port of Berbera and all the access ways into it, rehabilitate that port into a super modern port. The reason that that's significant is Egypt and Ethiopia are having beef right now over a giant dam Ethiopia built that is cutting off water to the Nile. And a year ago, when I did my my Egyptian Special Air Service Long Range Desert Group trip, I went down to Lake Nasser, and you could physically see Lake Nasser was 1 meter less than it usually was. You can see the lines on it that the lake was really getting low. And the Egyptians down there were talking war. Like fly over to Ethiopia.
They're threatening to strike the dam.
I'm saying they were talking about flying over to Ethiopia with a massive U.S. French-built Egyptian Air Force and bombing that dam out of existence. And, you know, I mean, everybody from the taxi drivers to, from the taxi drivers to the tour guides were big mad because Lake Nasser is a false lake. It's a reservoir which leads up to, they dammed it off. They dammed it off in the 1950s with Russian help. And to save Abu Simbel, which I will show you right now, they had to cut up this ancient Egyptian temple, cut it up and bring it up 100 meters and rebuild it. Rebuild Abu Simbel above the line of where this place was. And this is, down there. This is the southernmost part of Egypt. That temple is magnificent, by the way. Really utterly amazing. Everything in there was laser cut with an extremely fine pencil, not even pencil thin, laser thin wire, and numbered and reconstructed to the point where you can't even see the lines, right? My problem, somebody says they've been there. Who said there? Terry Wonder said that she's been to Abu Simbel. He's been to Abu Simbel. I went there and I didn't like it. I went, and it's a haul. I mean, you got to drive 2 hours from Aswan, and it takes you a while to get to Aswan. And you could fly down there, but when you get there, they've paved everything so that you feel like you're at Disneyland. until you are inside that temple, you feel like you're at Disneyland. I was like, well, this place sucks. Oh, did I mention Chinese influencers all doing hand gestures to hold up the temple in their hands and wearing flowing white robes? I was like, okay, Abu Simbel sucks. But the point is this: the Egyptians, Lake Nasser was going to consume Abu Simbel. So they raised Abu Simbel up. And now Lake Nasser is the reservoir for the Aswan Dam, the Grand Aswan Dam that feeds the Nile River. Now, we're going to tell you all of this because the Houthi situation is deeply intertwined with this. This is Lake Nasser here. Oh, bump. Sorry. And Lake Nasser is huge. It's huge. It's like, I think all in all, it's like the largest man-made lake in the world. It's like 20 miles long. But it is now going down because of this Ethiopian dam that's at the head of the Nile. And the Egyptians were, I'm not joking, a year ago, they were talking war. War between Ethiopia and Egypt. Now, why is this significant? Because in relation to what we were talking about today, the Egyptians thought, oh, we don't have to go to war with the Ethiopians. We'll just cut off their ability to have all trade with the world. So their port for everything was the Somaliland port of Berbera. And it was going through Hargeisa to the roads into Ethiopia. Ethiopia has no sea access itself.
It's landlocked.
Yeah.
It's landlocked.
After Eritrea became independent.
Well, yes, Eritrea had Assab, right? Full disclosure, I've been to Assab port. It's a shithole. But and it still hasn't changed. But Ethiopia only had Berbera port. Now, two entities have moved into Berbera port. One is the Egyptians in a massive Emirates-backed billion-dollar revamp of the port, right? Why did they do it to Ethiopia? Because Ethiopia is cutting off the water to Egypt. And now they're going to say to Ethiopia, you increase the flow of water or we just shut you off from the rest of the world. Period. That's the way it's going to be.
If you then go to Addis Ababa or go around the highlands of Ethiopia that are magnificent, basically they see all the Egyptians and the Sudanese as just one big horde of Islamists. It's just terrible. And the same with the Somalis. So they feel like they're surrounded by Islamists. So they're like, okay, let's just fight this war. They are really.
And don't forget that Ethiopia is almost a 100% Christian nation.
That's right.
Except down here.
They're Coptic.
Yeah,
Coptic
of course, down there. That's nobody lives down there except for Somali pirates. Not Somali pirates, jihadis, and that place is, that is a barren piece of the earth.
Oromo,
Oromos, right?
Oromo.
Oh, so anyway, just full disclosure, Ethiopian food is my favorite food on this planet. I can eat Ethiopian anytime. Day, night, left, right, up, down, center.
Go get your Doro
what, kibs, all these things. Shrimp alecha. I'm hungry now. So, Malcolm, you've gone on about this. So what is the significance of this? This is that Israel has announced that they are making an alliance with Somaliland and are intending to build an Israeli naval base. This is the Indian Ocean, by the way. It's the Gulf of Aden, but it's outside of the Red Sea. And if they moved the Israeli Navy to that base in Berbera, which is interesting, somebody says, did I buy any black velvet wall paintings? No. So this would give Israel a massive ability to project force into the Indian Ocean, the Persian Gulf, and cut the Red Sea off at the other end. Well, the Houthis have something to say about that. Can you point out to where Houthi land is in relation to Somaliland? There's
Right
the Houthis
here.
up there on the
Literally
inside.
right across the corner.
On
And
the other side of the strait. Yeah.
the Houthis said they are feeling threatened by Israel's presence. And if Israel establishes a base there, the Houthis, will fucking level it. And they have the capacity to level it, because I don't expect to see the Israelis moving down 5,000 Iron Domes and ballistic missile, Patriot batteries down there, even though the U.S. has bases in Djibouti, so does China. But they actually
And the
have
French.
the ability. And the French,
And the
right,
French.
at Camp Lemonnier. The French Foreign Legion Battalion is down there. They could actually do this. So they are warning the Israelis, any visible presence of Israel in Berbera means war between the Houthis and Somaliland. That will be interesting.
Malcolm, funny you should mention it, because some of our viewers might think, what is Somaliland doing with the Israelis? The thing is, Somaliland wants recognition because they are not recognized as a state. They've broken off from Somalia proper, and they are a de facto sovereign state. But no one recognizes them, and they're pissed. And that's why the Israelis think, okay, but then we can, promise the Somalilanders something.
Yeah.
I strongly recommend you guys to take a second and read my article yesterday. I specifically talk about Somaliland and Somalia and how Gulf states are not very much interested in recognizing Somaliland, specifically because of several things. One, Somaliland is backed by the UAE, and the UAE and Saudi Arabia are not doing so hot at the moment.
This is a UAE Egyptian alliance there. The Egyptians and the Emiratis let me explain to you where the Egyptians and the Emiratis have been carrying out this sort of projection of power. When I was in Libya in 2011, full disclosure, I was I can't tell you who I was working for, but it was the country I was living in, which has the city named Abu Dhabi. And initially, the people that were carrying out the rebellion was a former Libyan general named Abu Bakr Yunus, head of the Interior Ministry. Well, there was a split. The Egyptians and the Emiratis, about a third of the way through the revolution, decided to back another guy who I had some horrible run-ins in 1985 when he was abandoned in Chad, named Khalifa Haftar. And let me explain to you this story. When I was in Benghazi, Colonel Haftar was the commander of the Libyan garrison in Wadi Dum in central Chad at Faya Largo. Now, how do I know all these things? I don't know. I just showed up there. But they all got captured, right, by a French Chadian offensive. And Haftar was supposed to go back to Libya. But Gaddafi said, there's no Libyans in Chad. We don't want anybody back. There's nobody there. Haftar ended up in Northern Virginia in a town called McLean, which is next to a town called Langley. and he ended up doing activities that were against the Gaddafi government. So when the rebellion came back, boom, Khalifa Haftar shows back up in Benghazi at the Fitouk Hotel or whatever it was, where the Libyan National Transitional Council was. And so did Abu Bakr Yunus, who was recognized as the commander of the rebellion. So a lot of stuff was going on there. All I know is I got a picture of one of the two of them, right? And it ain't Khalifa Haftar. Because people told me, you were in Chad in 1985? Don't tell Khalifa Haftar. He's still mad about that. This ends chapter 8 of my memoir, by the way, about how I had to avoid Khalifa Haftar. And they all knew I was the American guy that was working there. And then one day, a couple of weeks later, after I left Libya, Abu Bakr Yunus woke up with machine gun bullets all through him by two officers from Khalifa Haftar. Khalifa Haftar announced his alliance with Libya, with Egypt and the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah.
Right? And then Turkey announced its alliance with the Transitional Council opposite against Egypt and the United Arab Emirates. And these were these countries, Turkey versus Egypt, United Arab Emirates. What did the Emiratis do? They bought in PMC Wagner Russian mercenaries. And what did Turkey do? Sent weapons and equipment to kick the ass of PMC Wagner. These countries are all fighting for regional power. So when Wajeeh makes a statement like you did the other day, Waj, about see the United States kicked out of Qatar, but the Turks come in to counterbalance the Emiratis, this is real. And so when we see the Emirates and Israel aligning in Somaliland, who do you think is going to come in on the side of the Ethiopians? The Turks.
Fun. I have several stories. And they have also been added in Somalia proper. So they have
Turkish
a
army
already.
The Turkish army. Yeah. They're supposed to be a training force. Yeah. Oh, my God.
For you guys. And for all of the listeners, the first Islamic hijrah, the first Islamic immigration before the Prophet migrated was to Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Yeah.
Yes, the king of Ethiopia, a Christian who was known for his trust and known for its safety and security. And he promised to protect the Muslims if they migrated there. And there was that's a big number of Muslims that migrated there when.
By the way, if you guys ever want to see the only authorized story of the Prophet Muhammad and how, by the way, and a delegation from Ethiopia comes to Mecca, right, to show them that they are equals in terms of their belief in Christianity and Islam at that time were equal. They believed in Jesus, the Prophet, all of that stuff. But Anthony Quinn in Muhammad, Messenger of God, the only film the Saudis have ever authorized to depict the birth of Islam in the history of the foundings of Islam. And who was Anthony Quinn in that was like his uncle, I believe. But a good film, considering Anthony Quinn was Greek and a Christian. So, but the Saudis bought him, and this film was made at the time around Lawrence of Arabia. And it's a great film. I mean, to the point where I remember everything about that film, which we were shown in cultural intelligence class at Defense Language Institute, right? Why is somebody talking about Churchill fighting in Omdurman? That's Sudan.
And Sudan, this proxy war that we've been going over now is also what's behind what's going on in Sudan now. But we'll leave that for some other day.
We need to have a special about the fighting that's going on in Sudan because as you guys know, I am an amateur historian of the SAS and the Long Range Desert Group origins in World War II. There was a Sudanese force that was like the Long Range Desert Patrol, used the same Chevy trucks, carried out operations in southern Libya, rarely spoken. And I was trying, before this civil war broke out, to get to the Sudanese military historian in their museum, which at this point, I could probably just go there and buy those old trucks for $20. But because there's a civil war going on. They're probably being used with anti-aircraft guns in the back, right? These 1942 Chevy trucks. So, but the reason we're having this really round-the-world discussion is because we're talking about how states like the Emirates, Israel, Turkey, Egypt are now projecting power across the region and North Africa, this is East Africa, to places they shouldn't even be. Don't forget, the Emirates and Saudi Arabia invaded Yemen and got their asses kicked. So, I'm sorry. I mean, got their asses kicked by guys with flip-flops.
Because the Iranians are projecting power in Yemen.
Absolutely. That's correct.
And they succeeded, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yes. And the Houthis are entrenched.
The Saudis and the Emiratis aren't seasoned fighters. The Houthis have been fighting tribal wars and been fighting in civil wars in Yemen for a while. The Saudis don't know how to fight guerrilla wars. In fact, that's the sole reason they wanted the United States to fight the war against Saddam Hussein. It's because when Osama bin Laden showed up in front of Prince Abdullah before he was king, he literally told him, I have a list of fighters that are ready to come and show up and fight Saddam Hussein. He was talking about Al Qaeda.
Yeah.
And
he's talking about Al Qaeda.
Yeah, he's talking about Al Qaeda. The king and the crown prince at the time looked at him and said, "Thank you for the offer," and then he called them and said, "Please, no, thank you. Americans, bring as much as soldiers you want. We'll pay how much you want. Doesn't matter."
Yeah.
The Saudis don't know how to fight guerrilla wars.
Yeah, they don't. They barely know how to fight their wars. By the way, I made a mistake. The old title used to be called, there's a movie called Muhammad, Messenger of God from 2015. That's not the film. This one's from 1973, I think, and it's called Al-Ashara, right? The Message. And this is the story of the birth of Islam. This is the only film the Saudis have ever endorsed. And if you want to learn about how Islam came about, and it shows the delegation that is sent to Ethiopia, right? And Ethiopia is a Christian nation, right? And I find it funny that Trump is probably going to back Israel and Egypt in this story, but not back the Christian nation of Ethiopia. Not their kind of Christians, I guess. Which is funny, considering Ethiopians and Nigerians run Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Not a joke. They're everywhere. Best restaurants in the city, though. Yeah. I love Ethiopian food. Oh, now I want Tibbs. So cultural intelligence lesson for all of you, right? This is why we talk about these things, because it's important for you to know that. Okay, let's set Somaliland aside. Let's go back to the MOU accounting. Lebanon. There has been combat in Lebanon between Israel and Hezbollah. Clashed yesterday at a place called Beit Hanun in southern Lebanon near the Israeli border. An Israeli unit near Nebatia was advancing towards the Nebatia Hills, the Ali al-Tahar. I call it the Ali al-Tahar mountain hardcore mountain complex, where they believe, according to Israeli intelligence, only 30 Hezbollah defenders are still within that tunnel complex. The Israelis, I told you, they were out to clear that mountain. They're quietly clearing it. They were hit with an IED. I've heard two different stories. I've heard one that it was a drone. I heard another that it was a guy with a hand grenade. But it wounded an Israeli army captain, and now the Israelis are pounding it with airstrikes and artillery. What I tell you about one attack, one hand grenade can lead to 24 hours of the Israeli Air Force dropping 300 bombs on you and hours of artillery. And that's what's going on. That being said, the clashes are in and out. They are not continuous. And the United States is having talks, again, peace talks, with Israel and Lebanon in Washington. However, they are not going anywhere. They are stalled over the wording of a memorandum of understanding. Tell me if this sounds familiar. And one of the components is the Israelis want the Lebanese army to come in and displace Hezbollah. We keep talking about that. The Lebanese army is a rinky-dink, ragtag force. Yes, Jacob.
No, but it's just to say why you were saying that this is not going anywhere, and it's not going anywhere because Israel is still ordering people to clear southern Lebanon. This is a map of the formerly UNIFIL area. And as Malcolm was saying, yeah, the Israelis are saying, well, it's the Lebanese army that needs to take over. Meanwhile, the French and the Italians have said, well, post UNIFIL, it should be a proper force assisting the Lebanese armed forces.
Right.
So there could be a European force also to force the Israelis on the defensive. So we'll see how the extremist fringe of the Israeli government, how they handle that.
Well, as of 16 minutes ago, Israel says they have killed 7 in southern Lebanon.
Yeah, they're working on it.
And just 20, 40 minutes ago, they were dropping, what do you call it when you drop those file papers from the sky?
Oh, leaflets.
Leaflets.
They were
So
dropping
people
warning leaflets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Lebanese army ain't particularly advanced, okay? I mean, these guys, I'm going to show you, they're still driving M60 and M48 tanks from the Vietnam War era, right? Their most capable tank, sorry about this, their most capable tank is the Russian T-55. I mean, this is an ancient force. They shouldn't be operating any of this equipment. It is not capable of doing anything. They did get some U.S. Bradley infantry fighting vehicles. The United States did introduce a new camouflage for their cool-ass Lebanese army uniforms, but they don't have the capacity to defend themselves, much less go against Hezbollah. Hezbollah has advanced anti-tank missiles. We now see Hezbollah kicking the ass of the Israeli army with drones. So if that's the case, what is 10 or 20 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles going to do that the Israeli army can't do? Right? Get killed. That's what you can do. Right? The Israeli army is good at not getting killed. The Lebanese army does not have the capability to fill in. Even though, like we said, UNIFIL, which is the old United Nations forces in Lebanon, has now, their mandate ran out this year. I believe it was February. Now the French and other forces are saying, how old are those photos? Somebody says, this photo right here of the Bradley is, I think that's last year. These photos of the T-72s, I'm going to show you something. The T-55s, this isn't old. These are when their tanks were fighting the Islamic State for Tripoli, Lebanon, right? That one's 2007, but this is their inventory. That's all they have in their inventory.
Tripoli, up northern Lebanon.
Up north in Lebanon, when ISIS tried to seize Tripoli, Lebanon. And,
Beirut is here, Tripoli up here.
Yeah. So we just don't supply them. Now, are we going to send in 3,000 U.S. trainers from our training brigade into Lebanon to train the Lebanese army? No. Are we going to suddenly drop 500 Bradleys, to turn them into a small Ukrainian army brigade? No, we're cheap. Trump's cheap, even though his new son-in-law is Lebanese. They're to make money.
There's another angle on this as well. The Israelis don't want the Lebanese armed forces to be strong.
Yes.
So, they're still also arguing, but okay, we demand that they disarm Hezbollah, but we don't want them to be too strong. So it's not as if we can just, say, let's just build one heck of an army here because the Israelis don't want it.
The Israelis don't want the Lebanese army strong because they're afraid the country could fall to Hezbollah, and all of those Bradley infantry fighting vehicles are now Hezbollah army forces. And it's not a joke. They want them weak. So they need them weak. Oh, it's a conundrum. That being said, the last thing that we have to talk about, there's two things. The Lebanese army has refused to enter any town that the IDF is in. They don't trust them. Why don't they trust them? Because when the last time their senior battle commander met with the Israelis, the truck turned around, went down the road, and exploded when an Israeli Hellfire missile blew it up. So not particularly trusting the Israelis will work on their side. I think the Israelis see anyone who's capable, they kill them. It's a good strategy, but, worked in the movie Troy.
It doesn't give you peace, though.
Doesn't give you peace. Okay, last item before we go on to questions and talk about
it's a
go ahead, Waj.
tactic. It's a good tactic, but
not
a good strategy.
Not a good strategy. Okay, we're still here. We have 53 questions or comments in there. Hey, back in 2018, the Israelis claimed that they did this amazing super duper secret operation. Yossi Cohen, who was the former director of the Mossad, according to Wajeeh Ali, my former boss, I was never in the Mossad, okay? I don't take Hasbara money. I'm going to ram that guy every day until he apologizes. But, he's a jerk. So, or until I get a Mossad plaque, all right? So any of you, can get the brother of the hookup at full tour and a Mossad plaque. Right? That's the only way I'm ever going to admit I was in the Mossad. Fuck, stupid. Anyway, in 2018, Israel figured out where Iran was keeping all of its nuclear secrets in a warehouse in downtown Tehran that was full of safes. They called it their nuclear archive. In 2018, Israeli commandos and secret agents of the Mossad broke into this warehouse using acetylene torches, cut off all the locks, and took out an entire treasure trove of material. At least that's what they keep telling the United States government. They had plans for the Libyan bomb program, letters written from the various leaders, the guys that they assassinated. It would be a great story. I believe it. I believe about half of it. But we can't verify the other half of it. However, there's a story out that Yossi Cohen has now said they trained for that mission by building a full-scale mock-up of that site in a warehouse in Africa somewhere. And the big guessing game is, where in Africa is it? And I'm looking at you, Somaliland. So, and the Mossad practiced on it, did drills. The entire warehouse had a mock-up of the actual place built inside the warehouse. And we do that all the time. The Bin Laden raid, we had Bin Laden's headquarters built inside, or his house, built inside of a warehouse that guys, SEAL Team 6 operators could actually fly into and fast rope on. So it's not unknown thing. But they are saying that this is where they got the research archive. The only reason that all of that information ended and wasn't because the Obama administration, it's because Trump tore up the JCPOA. And all of that material that the Iranians, I'm certain, had copies of, went towards making 60% enriched uranium. So if the Israelis had all the secrets, Trump ruined it by being shown this information and then tearing up the JCPOA. And now look where we are. So, now you guys have anything we didn't discuss we should talk about today before we get to questions?
I think the Venezuelan earthquake.
Watch. Jacob.
I think, just to underline that, also in addition to the Singapore container ship being shot at, the Iranians afterwards turned back 3 oil tankers that were heading for the same southern route. So the southern route is closed for all intents and purposes now.
Well, you know what? It's usually this time of year, it's very hot in the SOH. We usually get a good level of dust over the water, but it's generally clear. This is June, right?
Yeah.
You're talking 40 degrees Celsius out there with reflection on the water. The only place on this planet I ever got sunburn right?
Yeah.
Actual peeling of the skin off my nose. We refer to this as exposure.
Yeah.
All right. When you get that. This is, as we used to say, the IRGC boats are going to come out today. And you know what they say? Sun's out, guns out. Time to get the boats, time to turn the tankers back. So
exactly.
These are things that are important. So let's take a look at this. Some of the questions here. Malcolm from RevKev, the etymologist. Malcolm, how does this end? It ends when the United States starts paying up a boatload of money. That's pretty much how it's going to end here. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Trump doesn't want war, and the Iranians know he doesn't want war. So they'll keep putting pressure on. They'll keep expanding their influence. They'll keep doing a mafia shakedown on Oman and the other Gulf monarchies. That's it.
Here's what Trump has done. He has enabled one of the Middle Eastern biggest bullies to become a regional superpower. And that alone is a nightmare for everyone involved, for the GCC, for neighboring countries, and everyone. The second part is that we have no control over the Strait. We have no control over Israel. We have no control over the Lebanese borders. And that is going to have a nightmare for the rest of us. As long as we don't have that figured out, we will be stuck. Israel has an election coming up. Netanyahu seems he's only staying in power so he doesn't go get thrown into the courts for his corruption. The people who are running against Netanyahu are asking for more extremist far right actions. I'm not seeing this ending anytime soon unless really Trump exerts some actual pressure on the Israelis. And as Section 219 continues to pass, and as Section 1417 in the Senate is passing, that's wanting to merge the U.S. intelligence with the Israeli intelligence, corroding the U.S. sovereignty for strategic decision making. We're only going to get into a worse territory than this. And I really think that we need to have a special episode specifically designed for 1417 and Section 219.
You wrote a good article about that. I would like to do a special subscribers only to clear that up, to sit down and talk about it. I'm not sure if it's at the level that we think, but considering the enormous amount of pushback that the Trump administration is getting on this, I don't know whether it's going to pass. But they're calling it a part of the defense appropriations. They've made some modifications. But to the people who are really supporting this, they like the idea of this merger of the Israeli army and the U.S. Army. Somebody says, sure, he didn't go after Malcolm. Malcolm went after him. Somebody says, Surfy, he didn't go after Malcolm. Malcolm went after him. I'm going to tell you guys the whole genesis of the Wajeeh Ali thing. During the 2007 massacre in Israel, the world split into two camps, pro-Palestine camp, pro-Israel camp. I was in the middle, in the counterterrorism camp. And I had a tweet that was pinned for almost a year at the top of my Twitter feed that said, you're looking at this as either pro-Palestine or you're looking at this pro-Israel. I look at it as counterterrorism. And what I saw 1,000 terrorists storm into Israel and mass murder everyone they saw. Then I went to Israel to the sites to see that, that's exactly what happened. However, what happened after that, which is the Israeli army fighting his Hamas, I wrote whole Substacks on this. The strategy of Hamas was to get Israel to invade Gaza, right?
Yeah.
And as they, what's that old North Vietnamese strategy of hold them by the belt? They wanted to fight within Gaza at the 100-meter or less level. And a lot of people got killed, and a boatload of civilians got killed. But a lot of pundits in the United States, and I had some fights with some big ones, I had a professor at what was it, Georgetown, who wrote a book on Islamic, a white guy, right? Wrote a book on anti-Islamism in the United States. And this guy just straight up called me an anti-Muslim, a Muslim hater, and I called his ass out straight on to. I said, when I'm done here after I won, if I ever see you on the street, I'm going to kick your ass. 2, I'm not joking. This is what I was saying to people at that time. I will physically have it out with you. But 2, you will apologize. I never said any of that shit. You're a liar. And the big problem with liberals, and not liberals, right? I'm a liberal now, with a lot of people in that camp that were coming off as pro-Hamas, right? They said they were for the Palestinian people, but would not chastise a terrorist group that caused the death of 1,700 people, right? Summarily executed them. These guys got so angry that their common sense sort of went out the window. I have zero tolerance with people that don't.
And the terrorist group that killed a lot of Palestinians when they took power.
They were
in
executing
2006
Palestinians.
and 7, yeah.
Bro, they were executing Palestinians during the Israeli invasion. So I'm for the Palestinian people, right? I'm for the Israeli people. I am not for Hamas, all right? And I am definitely not for the way that war was waged, killing all those civilians. It's without honor, right? And I learned to fight in an armed force that relatively, until just recently, maintained that we had laws, we had orders. We were not any person moving was not the standard, right? But guys like Wajeeh Ali, he goes, Malcolm Nance went after me, and I thought he was deranged. I thought he was mentally ill. He actually said I was pathologic. You know what I say to that? Go fuck yourself, all right? I'm an old man. I got way too much. I'm still talking to him because I'm still pissed about this. Because he said it to my friend Joy Reid, the woman who was at my wife's deathbed, the woman who escorted me at my wife's funeral, right? First off, if you're a Palestinian, you have a little more credibility to talk to me, but you were born in San Francisco. You're South Asian, okay? I worked that region and risked my life for decades. 11 dialect Palestinian, Syrian dialect Arabic's the first thing I ever learned, right? So been there, done that, had the suicide bombings, right? But to come back and go, oh, he's Hasbara, he's paid by the Mossad. They don't have to pay me. Just pay my tab at the Sylvia Cafe in Yaffa.
And become a paid subscriber on Substack.
Or become a paid subscriber on Substack. $7 a month. You can actually get all of my analysis.
Oh my God.
That's a good one. I'm going to make up a certificate, right? That says that the Mossad is paying me $7
for getting all these brilliant ideas. And for the foresight.
The point is, as intelligence professionals, I don't have time to play your silly political games, right? And I hated the Free Palestine movement in the United States. Here's why. I saw that they were going to destroy American democracy. Hamas technically ended American democracy in the United States. Those fucking stupid-ass college students and everybody who were shutting down university campuses, you caused the election of Trump. And the worst part was when they started attacking African Americans, right? They were physically attacking Democratic Party leaders going into these things. And I was like, we're going to end democracy because of a Middle East terrorist group. But let me tell you something. We're fighting back now. And let me tell you how effective Hamas is. They're shit force. I have 3 of their flags. I have Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hamas, the Al-Quds force, and the Hamas general battle flag. And they're all fucking covered with blood. I'm framing those things. That's how bad Hamas sucks. I got their flags in my house and I didn't even kill them. So I just find this whole discussion fascinating that people are still talking about this. But the Free Palestine movement and essentially ended American democracy. You gave the United States to Trump, especially those guys in Michigan that were saying, don't ever vote for the Democratic Party, Genocide Joe and Killer Kamala. They are planning to ethnically cleanse 2.2 million people. ethnically cleanse it to build a resort. And none of you feel any shame in yourselves. That is that moral complexity right there is something I think should be studied. There's PhD theses that are going to be written about this.
Here's the
What do you say,
thing.
Wajeeh?
I've been dealing with black and white for a large
Mhm.
part of my life, where everything has to be you're either with me or against me. And if you think about it, that is exactly what an authoritarian regime does. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman doesn't see color. You're either on my side, and you're gonna get a Rolex, or you're gonna get your head cut off here in a few seconds.
Hey, who
There's
do I have
no
to
in
talk to
between.
get that Rolex?
Oh, easy.
Who do I
Just
have to
go there
talk
on
to?
a business trip. It's easy. I'll let you know how to do it. You just gotta go to the.
I
You
can,
just gotta visit the king sometime
I
or
can
the
see them
crown
now.
prince.
You were sent by the gay lion? Voila, get this man a Rolex Daytona.
with the two
He is,
swords and the palm tree.
he is very trusted, this gay lion.
You know, there's a very there there's a very 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 funny joke that we have that's based on truth. You see, our symbol is two swords and a palm tree. And one time, someone asked us, "What does that mean?" We said, you go forward, we give you dates. You go to the right, you go to the left, we cut your heads off." So that's the truth that we have of black and white. And
Those are
when you
options.
think of everything as black and white and you don't see nuances, you don't see
Mm.
gray, you don't see what is between the lines, you don't try to read between the details, you don't go between the nitty and gritty, you end up becoming an
Watch,
authoritarian person. So
watch.
getting to understand that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Yes, they're fighting the Israelis, but that doesn't make them good people. Also, on the other hand, the far right Israelis are not doing good shit. So when
Oh,
you say the truth, their verses when I'm telling you I'm standing with someone regardless of their mistakes, there's difference between I'm standing with someone regardless of their mistakes and I'm telling you this person just did a mistake.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I've missed one bullet point here on the Israeli roster or Lebanese roster. Ben Gavir yesterday demanded that, quote, Israel collapse the agreement between Washington and Iran. There you go. Here's your marching orders. That
When
guy
we
hasn't
talked
talked unless
about
Netanyahu.
peace in the Middle East, it always used to be that Iran was the spoiler. Now,
Yeah.
now it's the Israeli radicals that are spoilers. Anyway,
They're getting in the way of their
Yeah.
money. All right. That
just
being said,
very
yes.
important little thing here. We haven't talked about it, but
What is it?
breaking news.
Oh, geez.
Nationwide missile alert in the UAE. Explosions
What?
heard in Dubai minutes ago.
What?
Initial reports indicate at least one vessel was hit near the Strait of
Hold on.
Hormuz.
Hold on. Jesus Christ. See,
Yes.
look, if we
I
had been
haven't
on
been able to
schedule,
verify, but
if we had been on schedule, we would have missed this because every time we end the show, the Iranians go, "Is the show over?" Yes, okay, attack.
let's shoot.
Attack.
They just
Just
wait.
one missile.
But we went over 5 minutes. We fooled the IRGC. We got you. You're right. Okay, the UAE issues alerts for potential missile threats. My guess is this is a false alarm, maybe triggered by an attack on a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. They said it has happened before. Yeah, because that's just that missile. They issued 40 seconds ago, disregard. Here it is.
Oh,
For those of you who
Ah,
want to know, disregard. My bad. You can end your show now. Okay. Mashallah. Okay. That is not where we're going to end the show. I have one thing that I would like to ask a favor of you. I have today 2 fundraisers going on. The first one is going to go on between now and 5 p.m. today on this Substack. And what it is, if you go to the Substack chat, you will find the Black Man Spy fundraiser, laptops for Ukrainian NGOs. It is a NGO that is training Ukrainians how to use drone interceptors. These laptops don't guide the interceptors. Okay. Interceptors have their own specialized joysticks and all that. To track the incoming drones, need to be integrated. And that's what they're doing. The only way that you can have, they are not taking hardware. It is hard to send hardware into Ukraine. What? PayPal is asking for contact details of the recipient? Ugh, gosh, already trouble. Anyway, keep your eye out on that. I'm going to go with that. Somebody says they've been screwing with this thing for over a half hour. I'm not getting what I thought I paid for when I joined the group. Somebody didn't join this group. What did you join this group for? They're talking about, I've been watching a replay. All I get is this chat. Have a good day. This guy's on the wrong chat, NJ Osborne. You're on the wrong chat. Bro, right above this chat is the chat for the day. Okay. Please pay attention to which chat you're on. This one specifically says fundraiser laptops for Ukraine. The other one is U.S.-Iran attacks day 121. You guys got to exercise strategic patience here. Otherwise, you can watch Aaron Parnas just read the news. Back to you all day long. But anyway, we will resolve this issue, whatever it is, with going on with this fundraiser. This afternoon, we have another specific fundraiser that is taking place with the Ukrainian organization at 5 p.m. called Cars for Ukraine. I think it's .org. Cars for Ukraine is a legitimate organization. They are donating a vehicle to Team Jedi. And in exchange for your donation to Team Jedi, they are issuing out this special limited edition Malcolm Nance Black Man Spy patch. Let me find that for you right now. And that is coming from them. When you make a donation to Cars for Ukraine for Team Jedi, they will issue you a patch that is sent from Ukraine. Okay, boop. It is a crazy looking little patch, but we shall see if I can find it. But that fundraiser starts tonight at 5 o'clock on a special Substack where you can just go to it and see that. Somebody says PayPal has issues too. I mean, we actually had an account. Our Legion Battalion's account for PayPal was shut down by pro-Moscow MAGA people. So, but there are very few avenues. GoFundMe won't touch any of these, anything for anybody in Ukraine for anything. So that's the way we're going to do it. So I will clarify that. And you guys can donate as you wish. But please join us tonight at 5 o'clock, because that's Black Man Spy After Dark. And it's being hosted by one of my favorite companies. This is Penderyn Whiskey from Wales. And every year I go to Port Merion, Wales, where I do a speech for the Prisoner Appreciation Society, which was a TV show about a spy who was being held captive in a luxury resort.
People love
Wales.
In Wales. I sent him that. Is that chocolate? Is that the fudge I sent you from Wales?
That's right.
Anyway,
We're going all in on Wales now.
Yeah, but the director of... So this afternoon, I will be in, since that's why we're calling it Black Man Spy After Dark, right? Because my duty day ends at 5 o'clock, unless somebody's attacking something, then I have to stay up. And I am not allowed, I do not authorize myself to have any drinks before 5 o'clock, unless I'm in France. And
there's only 45 minutes until my day off and my first drink, so you got some way to go. Sorry to hear that, but I just wanted you to know.
Anyway, so our sponsor, Penderyn Whiskey, and the funny thing is, this bottle had been behind me for 2 years on that table. And the Penderyn Whiskey guys are like, have you ever heard of Penderyn Whiskey? I was like, that bottle that you're talking about that's been sitting there for 2 years? Yeah, I've heard of you. I get it at Port Marion. So they wanted to talk about that. Then I am being joined by Jonathan Fink, who is in Kyiv right now, who will be probably listening to ballistic missiles and drones go by at 11 o'clock at night while we see this. So please join me at 5 o'clock for Black Man Spy After Dark. And, you can bring your favorite beverage, whether it's sparkling water or double espresso or a Negroni or Aperol Spritz.
The Spy Bar.
Spy Bar is a real thing. And just keep your shirt on for that, okay? That's a secret project we had going as part of Circle of Spies, is Spy Bar. But all of that being said, thank you for coming to this episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's already over. This is Friday, the 26th. So if you are watching this on YouTube, yesterday's episode did not get up because of that break. I don't know why. It had a fault in it, but this episode will get up. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. Listen, you guys take an hour out of your morning every morning to get intelligence briefed by intelligence professionals. And I appreciate that because it means you don't just sit there and watch people read the news to you. And this is a thinking show. And as you see, news changes, analysis changes. Jacob yesterday actually gave me lived experience from him that changed my analysis on the spot while we were talking here. And that's what we're sharing. Same with Waj. Waj knows so much about the Saudis. Who am I going to call? The gay lion. So that's what they call him in Saudi Arabia. He's a principal secret advisor to the sheikhs. King Abdullah, I'm sure. Get me the gay lion. That's got to be a t-shirt. That's got to be a t-shirt. Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you coming.
I won't be in tomorrow. I have a family do in Jutland, but I'm back on Sunday.
Saturday's off. What's that like? Okay. Well, thank you. Enjoy it.
It's my nephew. He's graduating.
So we got to go over there for congratulations. As ladies like to do.
He'll be an economist, a flashy economist.
Hey, you know what? By the way, when you're doing your cultural note, when you're doing your I've seen those women. Their tongues go left and right. Mine goes up and down. I can't do it. I can't do that. I'd be very popular if I could, but I can't do it. It's just a cultural thing that takes lifelong training. So we're not going to end that here. Please like, subscribe, and follow Jacob, Wajeeh, and myself. We are going to give you whatever news you know. So thank you, guys. See you tomorrow. Jacob, I'll see you Sunday. Wajeeh, I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.